How's she going, my son? And welcome to a slightly different video today. This is not the beginning of a Darkest Dungeon Let's Play, not yet anyway. I have to tell you guys a few things, and I need some footage to go on top of it, so Darkest Dungeon will be it for now.
I can still see their angry faces as they stormed the manor. But I was dead before they found me. And the letter was on its way.
Okay, so, first bit of business. Going to be away for a bit of time this week, so there will be a slight delay in videos. Nothing too major. It's only a couple of day trip to, more big city town than where I am at the moment. Get some things done, hopefully get a better apartment, and with the better apartment, more consistent YouTube time, and hopefully a better internet connection so I can upload stuff faster. And, and also, upload and record at the same time a little better. So there's going to be a slight delay in videos in the future, not a big deal. Now, the second thing I want to do is I do want to do a Darkest Dungeon Let's Play proper, but I want to have some audience participation in it. So what I'm going to request is that in the comments of this video, reply with your name that you want to be known in the game, if it isn't just your YouTube username, and what class, if any, you would like to be. Now, the classes are set gendered, so if you don't really know what class you want to be, just telling me what gender you are helps, because then it cuts my options about in half. So I can, if I've got a guy character I need to fill and a girl character slot I need to fill, and I have a girl name but I don't have a guy name, I'll pick the girl character, that sort of thing. But, I'll do a quick run-through of the classes, just so you know what we're working with. I don't have them all here on this file, so I'll have to just kind of wing it with some of them. But anyway, Crusader, male character, frontline melee, melee / party leader type, very good against the undead. It's totally their shtick, that they're very good against the undead. Highwayman. The Highwayman is pretty much pure DPS. They do nothing but damage, but they do it very well. Some bleed, some range because they have a gun, some melee because they have the knife, or the dagger, or whatever you want to call it. The rusty blade, I guess, is the first level of it. There's scouts as well when you have camping skills involved, which is a bit later game. The Vestal, pretty much a cleric. Good against the undead, or the unholy as well. And is the most straightforward healer, because there's no gimmick or anything with her heals. It's just they heal and it's done. Nothing too major there. The Plague Doctor. The Plague Doctor is neat, probably one of my favorite classes, and she is, yes, it is a she in the outfit. She is a dot class focused primarily on the blights, but she has a bleed as well. Not that I don't use the bleed much personally, but it has a use. Couple of buffs and couple of status removal heals. This never heals for a lot of actual hit points, but it's like a preventative measure because it prevents dots from eating up your own guys, which is good. The Man-at-Arms. The Man-at-Arms is new to me, relatively speaking. If you want to compare World of Warcraft classes for those people who know them, this would be a Retribution Paladin. This is a Prot Warrior. This is a guy who's more defensive than anything. You can spec him to do damage, but he's more about, he can buff the team, he can tank, directly, he can jump in front of things for other squishier party members. And he's got a good debuff set too, or bellow debuff in particular for screwing with the enemy. Plus he's like the gnarled, the grizzled veteran that's seen too much shit. It's kind of the image you get off of him, which I think is cool. The Jester. The Jester is very weird. That seems very appropriate for a Jester. Not allowed to visit the brothel. Oh my. The Jester does a lot of, when he actually is attacking, the Jester does a lot of jumping around, because it's he's performing. So he'll start in the back row, but then he'll scoot to the front row, and then he'll scoot to the back row again, having done a big attack at the same time. Otherwise, he's kind of bleed focused, if he does his other bleedy moves, slice off and harvest. Because he's got that big sickle that he fights with. And He's also a buff monkey, and stress heal, actually. He's, he can buff with this one, but he also stress heals with this one. Just sitting in the back and playing his loot, basically. The Abomination. The Abomination is cool. He's relatively new to me, and I think he is the newest class in the game, before the game actually came out. The Abomination, as you can see, most characters can only equip 4 skills at a time. Apologies if you hear my phone there. But he can equip all of his skills at once, because what it is that the first skill lets him mode switch between his gnarly beast form and his human form. And the first 3 skills are his human skills. His human skills are like statusy and control-y and self-heal. But then his beast mode skills are just pure damage. It's just, rawr, I'm big and gnarly and I'm going to slash you up with my claws kind of thing. Which is pretty cool, but he does kind of play with the stress mechanic of the game a lot, because he stresses out the other party members when he transforms, because holy shit, one of our party members just turned into a giant demon beast thing. And he also stresses himself out when he's in the beast mode, because he's losing control, basically. So you have to play him carefully. Although, he does sort of lack the customization of the other characters, because he always has all of these abilities, and he just has to use all of them. I mean, you can use him in different ways, and he's more flexible in the way that he's what do you call it? Like, he can switch on the fly better, in mid-combat even. But, he can't, have a different build, is what I'm getting at. Like, an Abomination is an Abomination is an Abomination. They always are the same thing. Okay, Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter's interesting. Bounty Hunter is a bit crowd control-y, like it can push people around in the ranks, because the game is like, your guys are 4, 3, 2, 1, and the enemy is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. And people can do different attacks based on what position they're in. So what he can do is he can pull people from the enemy lines, like he can pull their back row guys to the front, so that your front row guys can chop them up. Or he can punch their enemy front row guys to the back row, so that they can't do their good moves, and they have to waste turns moving back up again. And he's got a couple of crowd control-y moves. The big thing is he's one of the classes that uses the mark mechanic. The mark mechanic is, when a target is marked, other moves react to the mark. Like the collect bounty here does nearly double damage if a target is marked. So, marking characters tend to work well together, like just 2 bounty hunters or some of the other classes that mark. I don't have them here at the moment, do I? Nah, because unfortunately I don't have all the classes available to show off. The Arbalist is one. She is a military woman with a big crossbow. She's either sniping in the back row, or she's part like team medic kind of thing. Not as good healing as the Vestal, but it scales up over time, because if she keeps reapplying it, it keeps getting better. So it's kind of good that way. What else is there? The Occultist is pretty much the game's mage. Is either very good at blasting the back row or debuffing any of the rows, and has the biggest heal in the game, but also one of the worst heals in the game. Depends on what you roll on the dice, because it can heal from 0 to a very large number, but it can heal for 0, which is a problem. Plus, it also causes a bleed sometimes, and so it could sometimes literally heal for 0 and then make someone bleed at the same time. So it literally healed for a negative amount, which isn't very fun. But I mean, sometimes you also get the crits for the maximum amount and get like 20 points of healing, which is a lot in this game, because the numbers in this game are pretty small. Like, a character having this many hit points is kind of a big deal. Like, this is level 1 gear, but like, he probably gets to like 50 at the end game. So, it's not a huge amount of numbers. So having a heal that heals for 20 is a very big deal. Or at least can heal for 20. Occultist. Okay, what am I missing? Occultist, Arbalist, Houndmaster. The Houndmaster is another one of the marking classes. Bit of a party support guy, and the dog has bleed attacks. One that hits the whole screen, and one that hits like rows 2 through 4. Like, he can't hit the guy in the front, but he can hit everyone else. If I've missed any classes, for anyone who does know the game better, I apologize. But if you can look it up if you need to. If you think, okay, I want to be in Mike's playthrough, but none of the classes he said really click with me. There's a wiki. There should be information on all the different classes. Although I think I've covered them all. Actually, I can check. I'm being silly. I can actually check. Here we go. Okay, Abomination, Arbalist, Bounty Hunter, Crusader, Grave Robber. That's one I missed. Grave Robber is pretty much a straight-up rogue. She's a bit jump around the battlefield, kind of like the Jester, but not as much. She's comfortable just sitting in the back, chucking daggers and poison darts at people, or she can be decent up front with, hitting people with the big old pickaxe that she has. Pretty much a pure damage class with a couple of tricks. Nothing too major. Hellion. There's another one I missed. Hellion is pretty much a bleed class. It has a lot of direct damage, but its strength is the bleed moves. She's a Amazon-type warrior lady with a humongous glaive, so she's just kind of chopping people up, which is pretty good. Houndmaster, Jester, and the Leper. That's another one I missed. The Leper is a frontman, but unlike the other frontman characters, he kind of doesn't need the party to support him. He's there to be the front line all by himself, while the rest of the party just does their own thing, because he has a lot of self-heals, self-buffs, probably the most hit points in the game, but unfortunately he's blind. His accuracy is bad on his own moves, barring one move that I usually use, but like most of his direct damage moves that do full damage don't hit very often. But when they do, they hit for a lot, so he's a bit of a gamble. But he's still pretty good. And I believe that's everybody. Plague Doctor, Vestal, Occultist, Man-at-Arms. Yeah. Okay, so that's everybody. So, if you want to be on my team of characters in my darkest dungeon playthrough on the channel and possibly die a horrible flaming death, leave a comment in the comment section of this video, and let me know what you want to play. Or if you just want to be in and just want to throw your hat in the ring and see what you end up as. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and ciao for now.